grandmother wanted her funeral to be primarily a singing service, so I want to encourage all of you to honor her request. And even if some of the songs we sing today are ones that you aren't too familiar with, I'm not too familiar with some of them either, but I'll be singing, so I'd like to ask all of you to as well. All the songs that we'll be singing today were either requested specifically by my grandmother, or they were songs that members of the family remembered her singing associated with her. Number 561. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
This is being marked as a day of celebration. I think that's what Granny would have wanted us to do. You have in your hand a sheet that gives a brief history, and I would like to read this with you as we review some of the life of Granny. Mrs. Bernice Callahan Carnes was born December 17, 1903, I believe the day the Wright brothers took their flight, in Borden, Indiana, and died March 18, 2000 at the age of 96 years and 3 months. She was married to Glenn B. Carnes on March 31, 1934. 5 children were born to this couple: Grace Elizabeth Wilson, now deceased; Arthur Glenn Carnes of Hammond, Indiana; Martha Pauline Lynn of Nashville, Tennessee; Alice Joyce Jewell of Searcy, Arkansas; and Marcella Rose Rollman of St. John's, Newfoundland. Her husband Glenn preceded her in death on October 18, 1977. Preferring to be called Granny when her children became grandparents, she celebrated the birth of 19 grandchildren and 29 great-grandchildren, and personally assisted in the care of many of these. She was blessed with a measure of health which allowed her to live in her own home at 1592 Clifton Avenue until 2 weeks before she passed away. Willie E. Wilson, who became State Superintendent of Education, encouraged Bernice to go to college and complimented her as the brightest student he had ever taught. Although she did not attend college, she encouraged her children to do so. 4 of her 5 children completed both a bachelor's and master's degree. 1 of them completed the PhD. The grandchildren have so far earned a total of 13 bachelor's and 7 master's and 3 doctorates. Many of her children and grandchildren have not only completed college, but have prepared themselves as teachers. Seems to be the favorite profession in this family. Granny Carnes lived life to the fullest. Her work is now complete. She will not be making any more angel food cakes or lemon pies or persimmon pudding. She won't be fixing any more steak dinners or fried chicken dinners. And we won't hear her say, "Take care of yourself," from her again. She will be missed by many, especially her family and those dear to her. Granny took charge of her life, and she felt others should do the same. She wanted the newspaper to arrive on time. She taught the garbage men to be prompt and lighten the load of the postman by taking her own mail to the post office. Every fall she raked a total of 40 to 50 tightly knit garbage bags, and she patiently knew that God was in control of the world. She was able to attend church, I think, even beyond December to some of the year 2000, we hear. She read her Bible every day. She recited the 23rd Psalm, portions of John 14 to her daughters just last week in the hospital. And in spite of earthly injustices, she took comfort in knowing that the sun still rises in its full glory every morning, the birds still take their flight to find their winter rest, and the star of hope still shines in the night. Although she was never concerned with material possessions, Granny leaves this world a rich and royal lady. Called to be a child of God, filled with the Spirit of God, she was baptized into a community of faith at age 12, and she lived her life inspired by a vision of her risen Lord. Today is a day of celebration, as our beloved mother and granny has reached her goal and is now with God. She is in perfect place and is experiencing perfect peace. We come together today not only to pay our last respects to someone we love and to acknowledge the end of a life we have shared, but also to minister to each other's needs. Mother is in peace. It is up to us to help find peace for the living. And this tribute was written by her children.
Nobody knows but Jesus. We'll sing the first and the third verse. Nobody knows but
for 50 years come this December. That's a long time, and she is a person that I admired. And I think that the scripture that's been given to me to read is so appropriate. This is Granny, and I hope you will appreciate it. She was a very true woman, and she believed in God, and she lived a life that is exemplified in the text that I'm going to read. And I'll be reading from Proverbs. And it's with regard to a capable wife. Starting with 31, 10th to 31st verse. Who can find a capable wife? Her worth is far beyond coral. Her husband's whole trust is in her, and children are not lacking. She repays him with good, not evil, all her life long. She chooses wool and flax and toils at her work. a ship laden with merchandise, she brings home food from far off. She rises while it is still night and sets meat before her household. After careful thought, she buys a field and plants a vineyard out of her earnings. She sets about her duties with vigor and braces herself for the work. She sees that her business goes well and never puts out her lamp at night. She holds the distaff to her hand and her fingers grasp the spindle. She is open-handed, to the wretched and generous to the poor. She has no fear for her household when it snows, for they are wrapped in 2 clothes. She makes her own covering and clothing of fine linen and purple. Her husband is well known in the city gate when he takes his seat and with the elders of the land. She weaves linen and sells it, and supplies merchants with their sashes. She is clothed in dignity and power, and can afford to laugh at tomorrow. When she opens her mouth, it is to speak wisely and loyally to the throne of her teaching. She keeps her eye on the doing of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her sons, with one accord, all call her happy, her husband too, and he sings her praises. Many a woman shows how capable she is, but you exceed them all. Charm is a delusion, and beauty fleeting. It is the God-fearing woman who is honored. Exalt her for the fruit of all her toils, and let her labors bring her honor in the city gate.
Number 228. 228. How sweet will be the welcome home when this short life is o'er, when pain and sorrow, grief and care shall trouble us no more. Welcome home, sweet welcome home, my home, sweet home. Welcome home, sweet welcome home, the Christians welcome home. When we the lovely promised land with spirit I shall see, we'll join the holy angel band in praise, dear Lord, to thee. Welcome home, sweet welcome home, my home, sweet home. Welcome home, sweet welcome home, the Christians welcome home. If we are faithful, we shall gain the land of promised rest, where with the Savior we shall live and be forever blessed. Welcome home, sweet welcome home, my home, sweet home. Welcome home, sweet welcome home, the Christians welcome home. And now we'll sing number 205, Amazing Grace. 205. We'll sing the first 3 verses. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a
like Keith's experience with Granny, was also my privilege and joy to know Granny. When I first arrived in 1968, hardly speaking any English, she showed me to Arthur's old room and told me to feel at home. And I have truly felt at home with her, and she has been for me an exemplary mother-in-law. Her whole life was centered in her faith. It was a stable anchor and center that gave her the strength to go through life and to face the difficulties that she encountered. In November 1986, she reflected on how she first confessed her faith, and she wrote, 70 years ago, that was in 1916, the last week in July, I was baptized in the creek in Borden. It was Brother J.A. Thornberry who baptized me. His hometown was Shepherdsville, Kentucky. In the winter, he taught school in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. He held about 14 meetings at Borden, 2, sometimes 3 weeks. He preferred light moon in August to come to Borden. He knew the Bible by heart, and I remember him standing in the corner of the platform, holding out his empty left hand and pointing to it as though it were a book, and saying, coming on down to the 23rd verse, we find this language. Or he might quote some other verse. He never married, said his parents' home was the only home he would ever have. One year they went with him to Borden and stayed through the meeting. We had them all for dinner on Sunday and the people they were staying with. Mom always enjoyed having the preachers for dinner. Brother Thornberry put his whole heart and soul into the service. When the invitation song was sung and someone started forward, he met them halfway down the aisle with outstretched hand and said, God bless you. Then after the song, he took each one by the hand, looking her straight in the eye and said, do you believe with all of your heart that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? Then another, God bless you. At the creek, as a song was being sung, he led me into the hole of water and said, have your heart on the Lord. The song stopped long enough for him to baptize me. Then the song continued as we walked out of the water. Dad was sitting in the wagon, so Mom and I climbed in and went to a member's house in Borden for me to change clothes. Then we went to the evening service. I had gone forward the night before. This was the custom, for there were no lights at the creek, and it would be dark after the service. The faith she lived out after she had been baptized was a faith that looked continuously forward. It was an active faith, and she expressed it in a poem that she wrote. And let me read to you from this poem. On life's highway there are bridges, bridges great and bridges small. And to make your life successful, you must cross them one and all. When you cross them, burn the bridges. There must be no going back. Keep your face turned forward ever, looking for a brand new track. This morning, Marcella wrote the following lines as a farewell to Mother and Granny. We have only happy memories of Mother. She was the most selfless person we know. Every time we bought a birthday card or Christmas card, we looked for one that said, thank you for all you have done. We want to say it one more time. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Grandma.
589.
As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone strength my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. I want you more than gold or silver, only you can satisfy. You alone are the real joy giver and the apple of my eye. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. Number 516. Number 516. We'll sing the first and the third verses. I love to tell the story of unseen things above, of Jesus and His glory, of Jesus and His love. I love to tell the story
have heard of a land on the faraway strand. 'Tis a beautiful home of the soul, built by Jesus on high, where we never shall die. 'Tis a land where we never grow old. Never grow old, never grow old, in a land where we'll never grow old. Never grow old, never grow old, in a land where we'll never grow old. When our work here is done, and the white crown is won, and our troubles and trials are o'er, all our sorrow will end, and our voices will blend with the loved ones who've gone before. Never grow old, never grow old, in a land where we'll never grow old. Never grow old, never grow old, in a land where we'll never grow old.
I'll attempt to read the Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Number 210.
First and third verses.
Walking alone at even, viewing the skies afar, bidding the darkness come to welcome each silver star. I have a great delight in the wonderful scenes above. God in his power and might is showing his truth and love. Oh, for a home with God, a place in his courts to rest, sure and safe abode with Jesus and the blessed. Rest for a weary soul, once redeemed by the Savior's love, where I'll be pure and whole and live with my God above. Closing my eyes at even, thinking of heaven's grace, longing to see my Lord, yes, meeting him face to face, trusting him as my all, wheresoever my footsteps roam, pleading with him to guide me unto the Spirit's home. the Savior's love, where I'll be pure and whole and live with my God above.
19 grandchildren and 29 great-grandchildren. Lots of memories collected on a daily basis for some and on a weekly basis, and sometimes through summer holidays when we came through Indiana. These are some of the words that her grandchildren think of as they think about Granny. Simple, eternal, toughest woman I've ever known. Cranky with a smile. She drove a Jeep. Gardening, canning, loyal to Grandpa. Birthday cards, wild strawberries by the front swing, the old pump. Some have heard the word tarnation used several times. We're taught to lick plates. An indomitable spirit. Her trip to Newfoundland. And cooking greens. Granny defies being distilled into anything very simple, but there are maybe 6 words that characterize her in some way. Hardworking. She was hardworking inside and outside the house, as all of us here know. Some remember arriving a little too early for Sunday dinner and seeing her do what you do to chickens before you cook them, when they're still out in the chicken coop. Some have seen her chop wood and do all kinds of farm chores. One remembers her using the outhouse so the guests in the family would be able to use the inside bathroom. Certainly she was hardworking inside, and most of us remember Granny best in the kitchen. Many of us have tried that experiment where you move your plate 3 inches just to see if you get a reaction. You know, if you move it to the end of the table, you will. Certainly if you take it to the sink, you will. How far can we move that plate and not get a reaction? Many of us have enjoyed meals around the table at Granny's house. One remembers waking up at 5 in the morning because Granny was preparing lunch in the kitchen, tenderizing meat with a hammer. Granny was hard work. She was also independent, and was independent of an era, I think, and independent in thought. I was often surprised that Granny didn't always reflect 96-year-old thoughts. Sometimes she reflected thoughts younger than I am, and I was surprised by them. Thoughts about politics. You could come and talk about what's happening in the city, what's happening in southern Indiana, what's happening in the church. And Granny had thoughts on those things, and they were not always old thoughts. They were young thoughts and new thoughts. She was independent. I think she even surprised many of the neighbors as she continued to mow yards up until a few years ago, and her spryness as well as her independence of thought surprised many. Granny was simple, and how appropriate it is that we remember angel food cakes, a very simple food that characterize her life and her lifestyle. Simple in dress, simple in thoughts, simple in actions. Granny was also honest, and I think she knew that she made people smile when she fussed at them. Because I don't know why her fussing made us more endeared to her, but it did. Granny was honest about people. She oftentimes at the dinner table would tell you one year that you've got to eat more. You're going to dry up and go away. And next year she'd say, you've gotten fat. Whatever she thought, she said. Her comment to the man who didn't grant her license recently, her driving license, he's a smarty tail. She's honest with anyone, not intimidated, regardless of the person. She spoke her mind. Some remember the time when she tripped on the way to the dinner table and the cake fell onto the floor, and her comment was, "We're having upside down cake." Or the time she sat on a pie, forgetting that she put it in her chair. Granny was honest. And Granny is remembered for two other things, family and for faith. The photo gallery was the most, the most celebrated part of the house there, in between the living room of the Clifton house and the kitchen, where all those pictures were lined up of all of her family. Never proud, never selfish, and also known for her faith. And many are here from the Silver Street Church and perhaps from Clarksville or other congregations where she has been a member for a long time. I'll close with some comments from Gary Souter, who is a nephew of Granny's, and he kind of sums up a lot of these thoughts. He lives in Topeka, Kansas. To the family of Bernice Carnes, I know that today all of you have your own special memories of a very unique lady that touched all of our lives in various ways. I have a few memories that I'd like to share with you, and most of you were part of the activities that I will recall. All of us in the Carnes family remember those Carnes family get-togethers, with Grandpa Carnes spearheading the annual Carnes reunion in Martinsburg. But then there were other family get-togethers at special occasions, such as Christmas or birthdays at the Bernice Carnes home. She would have enough food to feed half of southern Indiana, and there was always room for one more guest. Speaking of guests, Bernice took in my family to live in their family when my brother Larry was very young. I was a skinny kid, and Bernice was sure it was her duty to fatten me up before she sent me back to Pekin. I'm not sure how long we lived with the family, but the experience of being around the farm has been something that I treasure even now. I remember a bonnet-headed lady doing the chores around the farm and then doing the meal preparation in the kitchen. I still remember the Jeep that Uncle Glenn and Aunt Bernice used like a tractor when they farmed. And there was the hospitality that Bernice showed to not only my mother, brother, and me, but also to many other individuals. In fact, I can't remember a time of going to the Carnes home there was not someone else living there. It was probably a good thing that Uncle Glenn was a truck driver and gone most of the time, because there probably wasn't enough room for him. I know most of you cousins wonder what I turned out to be like, and you children and grandchildren must wonder who this is that seems to know Grandma. I just want you all to know that through the influence of not only Uncle Glenn and Aunt Bernice, but all the other aunts and uncles that helped raise me, that the Christian foundation that each one of us has laid for me, that each one had laid for me, has served me well. I'm thankful for the heritage that we have through the church in Martinsburg, New Albany, Jeffersonville, Pekin, and Salem. That influence of godly aunts like Bernice, uncles like Glenn, and others that have already gone on, has had a rippling effect that has reached many people literally around the world. And so to you of the younger generation, I challenge you to live a life that Aunt Bernice took to heart, of serving God and mankind. I'm sorry I can't be with you to celebrate the life of Aunt Bernice. I hope we can each have another Carnes reunion while here on this earth, but if not, I hope we truly have a Carnes reunion with all the loved ones in eternity, with Grandpa Carnes furnishing the ice cream like he used to do for so many years. Your cousin, Gary Souter.
Say Savior, lead me lest I stray. Gently lead me all the way. I am safe when by thy side. I would in thy love abide. Lead me, Savior, lead me lest I stray. Gently down the stream of time, lead me, Savior, all the way.
Fourth word to that list of words that Monty just shared with us that come to mind when you think of Granny. That's the word gracious. Granny was hardly a cultured or refined woman, as most people would define those terms, but I don't believe I've ever known a more gracious lady than her. And by that I mean somebody who dispensed grace on a regular basis. And we have all been recipients of her grace on many, many occasions. As I was asked to use the Bible that she used and that she read from daily, I found this poem tucked inside that I would like to share with you. It's in her handwriting. Since thy father's arm sustains, peaceful be. When a chastening love restrains thee, it is he. Weakest lambs have largest sharing of that tenderest shepherd's caring. Peace thy immortal soul shall find, lying still. Beautiful sentiment that again so perfectly captures what she was all about. I'm reading one of the two passages that she quoted to Alice and Martha just last week. John 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. It is in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. Before I lead the prayer which will conclude the service here, let me, on behalf of the family, express our deepest gratitude to all those of you who have come, those from the community, those who have come from farther away, those who maybe didn't know Granny that well, but who know the family, and we appreciate so deeply your coming to share this time with us. If you're able to go to the graveside service out at Martinsburg and you need directions, there are some printed copies of the directions. I'm told by the funeral director that it would be impossible to maintain a tight caravan through town, so inevitably some are going to get stranded at stoplights. So if you're not familiar with the way out to Martinsburg, there are printed copies. I'll leave them here on the podium and you may pick those up as you leave. Shall we pray? Father, we're thankful for the time of celebration and remembrance of the life of Bernice Carnes. We're thankful for the family that she has produced. We're thankful for the extended family that is represented and gathered here today, and for all the friends who have come to share this time with us, and for those who are unable to be here but are with us in their thoughts. We're thankful for the life of this gracious lady. We're thankful that she was able to touch the lives of so many. We know that she found the strength to do that because of her faith in you and through her faith in Jesus, her Lord. We pray, Father, that her faith can be an example to us. We pray that her legacy will live on for generations yet to come, and that the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren that are here today will still be telling their grandchildren and great-grandchildren about Granny Carnes. We pray, Father, that you'll bring comfort to all the members of the family. We pray that you will bless those who are traveling today and tomorrow and in the near future back to their homes with safety. We pray for those who remain behind, that you will grant them comfort, peace, and knowledge, in the knowledge that Granny's prayers were answered, and she got her wish, and she's now where she has wanted to be for many years. We pray, Father, that we'll live our lives in a way that will be fitting tributes to her, as she indeed lived her life in a way that was pleasing to you. We pray that we'll have the strength to live our lives in such a way that when it is our time to be remembered, we can be remembered with the same fondness and the same tributes that we paid to Granny today. We pray this in the name of Jesus.
No, please don't.
I'm doing a documentary.
No.
Yes.
And I would like to know a little about yourself. I'd really like you to brag if you can. Tell me where you live, what your name is. Well, not in that order, but what your name is, where you live, and what you do.
Is it on?
What?
Is it on?
Yes.
I'm from Houston,
You're from-
Texas. Matt's at home. He couldn't come. He had mediation. The girls are 6th and 5th grade. Kate's doing cheerleading clinic this week. She's trying out for cheerleader for 7th grade next year. Christy does cheerleading at a gym.
That's my name.
And that's about it.
That's it? You don't have anything else to boast about yourself?
No. I'll see you later.
Okay. Thank you.
You.
What would you like for me to say? Greetings to all the children.
Okay.
Solid. All right. Be careful of one going back. Get here.
Yeah, me.
Hello. I'm doing a documentary on everybody here. As you can see, I got a lot, so let's rush this.
All right.
Tell me a
What do you
little
wanna
about
know?
yourself.
Well,
Boast about yourself. Tell me your name, where you're from.
Monty Lynn from Abilene, Texas. Been there 15 years. Did you get my wife already, Libby?
Is that her?
No? Right
No, then I
there.
haven't gotten her.
Okay, you'll get her in a minute. Anyway, we're glad to be here. We've got 2 kids, Hillary and Ryan. And maybe you've gotten them, but they're next door over here, 13 and 10.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Is that out of film?
Back up a little bit. I get claustrophobia.
Okay.
What are the questions? My name is Marty.
Okay.
I was Martha. I was Martha Carnes. I'm now Marty Lynn. And today we buried our mother. And it's a joyful day because it's a celebration. Her entrance into heaven. And I live in Nashville. I have 4 children. They're all here today. I have 8 grandchildren, 6 of whom are here today. Any more questions?
What you do for a living?
Oh, I go to Egypt. I have a little job over in Egypt.
In Egypt? Wow. What do you do over there?
Well, I really want to know the truth.
Yeah. Do you dig up mummies or anything?
No, I'm a spy. I have an import-export office.
Oh.
You want my website? Put it on there. Put it in front of the, put it on the documentary.
Okay. What's your website?
I'll have to give you a card and you can film it.
Okay. I'll film the website then.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
I'm married to
tell me a little bit about yourself, your name, and boast.
Boast.
Yeah, boast a lot.
My name is Libby Lynn. I'm married to Monty. Mac and Marty. Boy. And that's all I have to say.
No kids?
I have Ryan is 10. And a teenager, she's 13.
Right here is the other. Right here.
Right there?
Hillary.
Hello. Wave hi. Okay.
And I'm a creative writer who loves broccoli.
Oh,
Pokes me.
That's all I know.
that's it?
Crying.
Wow, you're not very interesting.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Your turn. Thought maybe she would not notice.
Tell me a little about yourself, your name, where you're from, what you do, how many kids you got.
Get real embarrassed.
My name is Karen Morris, and Granny was my grandmother. And I am married to David Morris, and I have 3 boys. John David, I wish you could just at least look at me with one eye.
I can't do that. I can't concentrate. I need an eye patch or something so I could do something with my other hand.
My boys are right behind you. There's Michael, right there.
Right there? Okay.
To the left is John David.
Right there?
And then Aaron has a tie on.
Okay.
And Aaron is a senior this year.
Wow.
I teach school. I teach special education, children with learning disabilities, at a public elementary school in Nashville. My husband teaches at David Lipscomb, the middle school.
Isn't that good? Wow.
We've been in Nashville about 13 years.
Cool.
We come to see Granny at Thanksgiving. Eat her angel food cake. We'll really miss her.
Yeah, I do too. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Okay.
What are my
I need your hobbies.
Hobbies.
What you like to do for fun?
We like to camp and hike and go to ball games. The boys play ball.
Okay, thank you.
Ask Mary Ruth.
Oh, come on.
My name's Johnetta. I go to Martinsburg Church of Christ. I'm also involved with homemakers. I quilt, have Bible class, etc.
You got any kids?
2 kids and a grandson. My grandson's 5.
Okay. You got any good hobbies or anything?
I quilt and crochet.
Quilt and crochet? Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hey.
Ready.
Hi, my name is Marcella Rollman, and I live in St. John's, Newfoundland, where I am an assistant professor of German at Memorial University.
Oh, wow.
And I have 3 children. Hans Paul, who's 25 and finishing his master's degree in anthropology. Ernst, who's 22 and finishing his bachelor's degree in history and religious studies in German. And Peter, who is 13 in grade 8. And I was Bernice Carnes' youngest daughter.
Wow.
End of story.
End of story? What you like to do for fun?
What I do for fun?
Yeah, like do you bike ride or go mountain climbing or anything really fun?
Well, I don't have a whole lot of time for hobbies like that. My children are my hobbies.
Your children are your hobbies?
Whatever they're into.
Okay. This is one of your children. Where's the other
my
one?
youngest. Let's see, where have they got to? They're probably outside now.
Okay, I'll have to...
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Hans. I'm Marcella's husband.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm teaching other kids, university. I'm a professor of religious studies at Memorial University of Newfoundland.
Oh,
so
what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like to go on the internet and surf the web.
Oh, wow. I should give you my email address.
Sure.
Okay, this is one of their sons. Hello. Wave. Wave. Tell me your name.
Hans, from Newfoundland.
What you like to do for fun?
Not be filmed.
Excuse me?
Not appear on film.
Oh. Okay, so we'll start with you. Hello.
Hello, I'm Buffy Lynn. I married Richie Lynn.
That's me.
Okay.
And this is Audrey Lynn.
Audrey Lynn, aw.
This is our 5-week-old baby.
Oh, how cute.
This is what we have to brag on these days. She's brand new to us.
She was born on February 11th.
Wow.
And we live in Memphis. We've been married about 1.5 years, and we're here to help celebrate Mrs. Carnes' life.
Wow, what do you guys like to do for fun? Besides watch the baby?
We go camping and hiking a lot.
Backpacking, yeah.
We love the outdoors.
Wow. Did I already get you two?
No.
No?
Okay.
We're new.
I work for FedEx.
And I worked for Blockbuster Video as an accountant, but now I'm going to stay home and do a more important job by taking care of Audrey.
Oh, I do that.
You do?
Yeah, I work in geriatrics and dementia and geriatrics in Valparaiso.
Well, wonderful.
So, got a lot in common.
Yeah. So that's who we are.
Okay, and where did she go?
Audrey.
Hello. Would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself? What you like to do for fun? What you do for a living?
You have her.
You have already done
Oh, I did you already?
I thought you were going to interview Audrey.
Oh, I'll interview Audrey. Hello.
Yes, I've had my turn.
Hi, little baby.
Yeah.
She sleeps a lot.
Ah.
Now, are you going to ask me some questions?
No, just tell me who you are, where you're from, what you do for a living, what you like to do for fun, and how many kids you got.
My name is Monty Lynn.
I thought I already. Okay. Like, don't confuse me anymore.
My name is David Morris, and I am Karen Lynn's husband.
Okay.
And Karen is Marty's daughter. And we live in Nashville, Tennessee. And Karen and I are both teachers. Karen teaches in elementary school, and I teach in high school and middle school. And I'm a coach. I coach football and track.
Wow.
Coach girls track. And I teach computer classes and math classes, algebra. I teach GED preparation courses at a local area college. And I work with Room in the Inn program in Nashville, which is a program to shelter the homeless people.
Wow.
And other than that, my children, John David and Michael, are twins. They're 14 years old. And Aaron, who is 17, he's a senior this year, and he hasn't decided where he's going to college yet. But they're all real good boys. We just got back from a camping trip, and we had a real good time. And that's about my whole life. No, but yeah, we live just on the next block over from Mac and Marty.
Wow.
So, and
are you two good friends?
really nice.
Are you two good friends?
Oh yeah. You know, it's nice to be close to. We have 4 generations of our family within a block, right there, and
wow.
So it's nice to have that kind of help and support there right at your very own house.
Just do anything but stand here and smile.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you work, what you do for a living, who your husband is.
I live in Nashville. I teach 3rd grade at Creve Hall Elementary and no husband. So.
Single.
Yeah.
What you like to do for fun?
Travel. Run all around the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Oh, Europe. I go visit my sister in Italy. I'll go back this summer and visit her again.
Wow. Where else have you been?
How much do you want about me?
Enough.
Just Washington and all around different states. Just running around having a good time. Florida.
Wow, how fun.
It's just a lot.
To y'all?
To us or...
I'm your mother's first cousin, Alice's daughter.
Okay.
Great nieces wants you to.
Hello. Tell me
Can you
a
get us
little...
both in the same picture? I'm too short.
There we go. Okay, tell me a little about yourself, what you do for a living, how many kids you got, what you like to have for fun, and all that good stuff.
You go, you're the man.
Well, I'm Alice, and I'm Arthur's sister, and this is my husband, Fred.
Hello, Fred.
And we live in Searcy, Arkansas, and we teach at Harding University. We've been there for 32 years. And for fun, we go on campaigns to Scotland.
Wow.
We have 4 children, all adults now. 2 live in Nashville. 1 teaches at Lipscomb, 1 teaches in the Metro Public School System. And then we have also a son living in Tallahassee, Florida, working on a doctoral degree, and a daughter living in Rome, Italy, doing mission work.
Wow.
So that's us.
You guys got a lot to brag about. You got anything else to brag about?
Well, we brag on Granny. Granny's responsible for everything.
Do you guys like to do anything personally, like read or quilt or go bike riding or go mountain climbing or anything fun?
I grow irises.
Grow iris. What
And
are
I
those?
swim every day.
What are irises? Are those flowers?
Beautiful flowers.
Oh.
I walk the dog.
You walk the dog. That's your job. Say something in German.
Was?
What's that mean?
Was ich sagen soll? Hey, mein Bruder.
Come here. Say,
Who's coming?
I'm having a nice time.
I could talk in Newfoundland English.
Do that. Do that. Do that.
What should I say? I was telling them I was coming down here. I was going to talk like we tax up there in Newfoundland. What do you think about that?
Any son?
Like some hat out? Red hat?
I think the interesting thing about this is that he had to learn German from his mother, not his father. His father couldn't speak it well enough.
Isn't that something?
I don't know about that. I took him to Germany at least.
You took it to Germany, okay. You did your duty.
Okay. Are we done?
All done.
Did you get anything?
Sure. I'm still recording.
This is actually I should say what I said earlier. This is a blistering hot Newfoundland summer day. This day, everyone is out in their shorts.
Really?
They're sitting in their line in their chairs like this because
You're
they can't believe how hot it is.
So how cold is it usually in Newfoundland?
Well, it got up to freezing when we left, which was nice. It's always nice to actually see the snow start to move down a bit.
So you have snow all year round?
No, snow is nice because it makes you feel like it's winter, but the problem we have is we had the sun like this, and it looks like it's a beautiful day. You step outside and it's usually minus something. Fahrenheit.
Wow.
I'm not centigrating that for you.
Huh.
It's usually minus 40 with the wind chill often.
So this is as cold, this is a real hot day
Well,
for you.
to be honest, it gets up to 80. One day a year maybe, it gets up to 80.
Oh my.
But 70 is considered a real hot day. It's a nice day, get out to the park.
So wait. Okay. So what do you wear? Do you wear like Eskimo suits?
No, t-shirts in this weather.
I know, but like
I
in
feel
the
like I'm
cold.
brave wearing this. When it's negative 40,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're hardy people. They're hardy folk. Those boat people, they're hardy. That's what you say. They put on their Georgetown Hoyas jackets or whatever's in the popular these days. Everyone dresses the same. They've moved the Gap in there, so maybe they'll start dressing all like this. Yeah, they all are the same. I don't even acknowledge it. I don't want to. I'm usually indoors working anyway, so I try to stay the same way all year round, and because it's not hot enough in the summer, I'm usually in a sweater anyway, in the spring and in the fall, so I just keep going whichever way I am. And if there's usually not too much snow on the ground. We're actually, get this, the most mild point in Canada, major city, because mathematically the way it works out, in the summer it's so mild, it doesn't get hot at all, and in the winter it doesn't really, the temperature doesn't freeze, but because of the wind, which is constant at about 20 miles an hour, it always feels like it's minus 40. So you turn on the weather, it's they say it's like 30 degrees, just under freezing. You go outside and it's minus 10 maybe because it's a constant 20, 30 mile an hour wind.
Wow.
So I want to come down here. I did that 5 years ago. I came down and I
You
tried
didn't
to
want to
move
go
down.
back.
I didn't want to go back, and but I ended up going back, and I figured I might as well go get that degree. But I know I'm not staying.
What kind of degree?
German and religious studies. So I should have performed better for you on that.
Yes, you should have. Shame on you.
Steph, back to me. And that concludes the documentary for the Carnes family. Thank you and good night.
Okay, this is the church. And all the sun's in the way. But this is named after our family. Carnes Court. Right in front of the church. Say hi, Mama.
Pull up some chairs.
Hi, Mama.
You? Did you say that?
No, that was me over here.
Huh?
The one with the camcorder.
Oh. Snap it.
Christy, why don't you?
Well, these kids has changed. They don't look like themselves. And how are you?
All right.
Who's that behind you?
You're blocking my view.
Hey,
I can't see.
And the little baby's
By the way,
Isley.
you pretty little thing. You pretty little thing.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hi, Isley. You hadn't seen this one. Just wake up. I'll bring Isley over a second. Here, pull Paris. Sharon, pull them chairs out here. You hadn't seen the baby. Yeah, I did.
No. No, you're talking about this baby. You saw this baby.
You saw this one.
Come here, Cartier.
Oh.
Come see Grandma. Come see your mama.
Now, who's that? This is
Yes,
Isley.
Cartier.
Hi, Cartier.
This is Isley.
Cartier.
That's Cartier.
I got something to show you.
Sitting down leaving.
Cartier.
Turn left when you get. I said go as far as you can go when you.
That's what the first left. You have to go down to 60 and turn a left or left. There's two lefts. You only told me about one left. It's like a box. You leave the cemetery, you turn right, you go down, you turn left, you go down, you turn left, and you come all the way down through Pekin. And we turned right, and we were heading west, and he said, well, that's not right, because, hey, knock it off. He said that the Salem's east of New Albany. So we pulled around, we checked at a gas station, and they said, yeah, the other way, so we went
I don't
the
know
other
where the other left was. There was only one left.
Oh, no.
way. Okay, when you leave the cemetery, you go down till it ends. That is not 60. That's Voltaire's. Or Voltrees or something. Voltrees. That's not 60. You turn left on Voltrees, you go down till it ends, and that's 60. You have to either turn left or right.
Mom, he saw your picture and he said Grandma and Grandpa. I said Grandma and Grandpa.
Me.
Hey, Isley. Hey, baby. Smile for me. Can you smile? Isley. Smile. Isley.
I see a duck. Mommy sees a ducky.
Isley.
Ah! No!
You smile for me, Cartier. Okay, I'll come back to you.
Maybe bigger than Chelsea.
Yeah.
Wave.
I don't know. It seemed like he
Wave, Chelsea.
all of a sudden, from one
Wave,
Sunday
Bob.
to the next Sunday.
Mom said nobody could say.
Okay, over here.
Chelsea.
Oh.
You can stop waving, Chelsea.
Giggle. He just
That's Bob.
Giggle Bob. Don't do that early.
Okay, smile, Mama.
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 anymore.
Boys giggles more than girls
Chelsea, look at me.
around here.
Mama.
That's why I didn't get home.
Mama. Wave.
I bet I hid his face, did I?
Wave, Mama. Smile and wave. This is my grandma, my mama. Smile, Mama.
Wait, Mom, let's see.
Okay, get down there. Hug Mama.
Hey, Mama.
Oh, look. He's hugging her.
Aww.
He's hugging
Cartier.
Jimmy's voice.
Smile at me, Cartier. Give me a great big smile.
Wow.
Okay, I guess that's good enough.
Like that. Oh.
Steffi, get behind Mama.
Upstairs? Yeah. I know there was upstairs. I just thought there was a downstairs.
Cartier.
Aww.
Shoot, you want to take your picture?
Isley, I got your toes. Aww.
What does the cat say?
Yeah.
What does a birdie say?
Sit down.
What does a birdie say?
And then she goes, and after I get through with it, she goes and looks in there.
Duck? Duck?
I'll just
Sit,
get one of the girls to do it.
Chelsea. She doesn't come Isley.
A dog.
A dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Duck.
This is my mom, Kathy, with Mama. And there's Kevin getting in the
What
way.
does a duck say? How does a dog say? What does a dog go?
Ask him what a lion or a bear says.
What does a lion say?
I want to hear the duck again.
Say duck.
Do the duck.
How's a duck go?
It's Christy.
I got it.
You gotta tape this.
I did. I taped it twice.
How's a cat and a cow go? What does a cat go? How's a cat go? How's a duck go?
Turn him around so she can see him.
Do a duck. How's a duck go?
Huh?
I couldn't
Take your hands out of your mouth.
How's a duck go? How's a duck go?
He's like, I already told y'all, dummies. I want to hear it again. I don't remember. I want to hear a bear.
How does a bear go?
I'm not gonna do it.
He knows
How's a
the duck
monkey go? He's a little monkey.
Monkey?
He swings on a tree. He does.
How'd you understand that?
He just went like this, Mom.
How's a bear go? What's a bear say?
You know what a bear says.
How's a lion say? What does a lion say? What does a dog say? What's a dog? I can't hear that. Huh? Keep your fingers at your mouth. You keep your fingers at your mouth.
What's a duck say?
What's a duck say? Oh, at least you got the first time.
What's a pig?
Yeah, how's a pig go?
Oi, oi.
What's a bird say?
Da.
What's a horsey say?
You don't know that. Do a Winnie. Who can do a Winnie good?
He loves animals. Mom, does he love animals?
Yeah. Isn't it? Adjust it to make it look smaller. Hey, I thought you were going home with me.
Wow, look at those nose hairs, Carol.
What? You don't want to come home with me? With me and Marsha?
No, I don't want to be in the picture because it adds 10 pounds. I can't afford to add 1 pound.
Hey, Carol.
With all this.
Carol, have you ever thought of trimming your nose hairs?
My nose hairs?
I zoomed in on you.
No, you're not. That's why I didn't want to come over here because I know how Christy is.
You're just egging me on.
You know, there's a button on that video camera. You can make something look real lean. Oh, hey, that's my button. I bet it says Carol on it. I don't know how to do it. Press for Carol. Oh, yes, I know how to do it. Here, I know what we can do. Let me do it where I can make everybody narrow, and then we'll take a video of all the songs. No, because it's definitely look like, oh, she's anorexic. Yes, that's a duck. Yep, sure do.
Marsha's leaving us.
Yes, you come.
Oh, another owl? Oh, okay.
Give me a hug, Marsha.
Memo's house.
I was like, hi, Dave. Where'd you go?
Hi, how you doing?
Hey! Take that jacket down off your face.
You too. Have a safe trip.
Bye, everyone! Where you live? My son. Where you live? Come here. Careful going home. She's saying 7212 Howard, her address.
I bet you go sleep when you get home. I'm gonna sleep in the car.
Must be nice.
Did aspirin come from something BC? Has aspirin been around a long, long time?
Do you have a pacifier?
Turn the lights on. We're gonna be going. What, Paris? Paris, can you turn that table lamp on? What? Turn that light on. Right next to you. Arthur. He's late. Just go home. I'm tired. You'll stay by us for a little while?
Isn't that thing pretty?
You wouldn't sound asleep.
Oh, I had one of those, Marsha, oh, she's gone. I had one of those hogs, and it's like string, and then you can tie them up and they'll like fly down. Remember you got me that? Or, you don't remember. Oh, yeah, I used to be crazy about the Incredible Hulk. Actually, I didn't like the Hulk. I liked Lou Ferrigno, who played the Hulk. I didn't watch the cartoon The Hulk. I watched the real Hulk.
You getting all this on tape stuff?
Like Sean
Yeah.
Cassidy. You got your hair cut like Sean Cassidy.
Oh,
Remember that?
Christy.
Stupid.
Hey, baby doll.
Oh, a dragon.
Oh.
Before we go, I'm gonna call the house and just tell them what
Oh, that's so fun.
Is it brown or black? Pretty eyes.
all their kids are. Look at his. Look at his eyes.
I see your eyes.
You know where the phone is? She
See
wants to
your
see your
eyes.
eyes on the wall.
I see
Cardi,
your
let me
eyes.
demo. She wants to see your
Where you
pretty
going,
eyes.
Cartier?
Well, now he's not gonna do it.
He's busy.
Don't
No.
you show her your eyes.
You want me to dial?
Okay,
What do you want me to dial?
we're gonna see an old-fashioned phone.
Mom, what do you want me to dial? Mom. 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 Mom.
Did I? I don't remember that.
Where do I dial? Just call home or something.
Just dial like one digit. You say this is how we used to.
This is how we used to dial the phone.
Just dial one digit.
Whoa.
Karen. This is Becky and Jimmy.
I think this was so big. You know? Do you remember being
Yeah.
like so big? Like, remember?
I remember when I was little, and this was like a huge, huge yard to me. I remember playing in the garden and Grandma yelling at me.
Oh, it used to be so big.
There's a garden. There's Grandpa. Hi, Grandpa. This is the same yard that I dig up gardener snakes and chase Mom all around.
Yeah, yelled at.
And got yelled at all the time.
I don't even do that. I got you on the bunny.
Run.
I hear something. What is that?
Oh no. Oh no.
Isley, look here.
Isley!
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 She took that grape something to eat, that's what she was
Hey, Isley!
Hey,
Isley! Isley! Isley!
Look.
Hey! What are you doing?
At you.
Was she making a face?
Yeah.
Pico's face. A sweet Pico's face.
Are you doing it again?
Two pigs.
Okay.
What are you doing, Cartier?
Well, we got Sean Cassidy butt naked.
He is butt naked.
Put his clothes back on then. You know what? He takes his clothes off at home. I mean, that is just a t-shirt and diaper or underwear, whatever he has, but he always takes his pants and socks off.
Yeah.
Stephanie?